Hello valued viewers, I hope you're all doing very well and welcome back to our capital ship knockout competition, and boy is it hotting up because today we're on to the winners semi-final. When we started this 3 or 4 months ago it was just a bit of fun, it was relaxed, hey let's do some battleships against battleships. It spawned this massive competition, all sorts of people have got involved, and all of a sudden there's massive amounts of pressure on us and I'm all nervous and anxious, but here we are. So semi-finals today guys, or the winner semi-final I should say, is the German Tirpitz Battleship versus the British Vanguard Battleship, and they very much have earned their way here. Let's look at how they got here. First round, Tirpitz took on King George V, and to my absolute dismay, it smashed it and got through. Then it took on North Carolina, controversial battle, and we'll talk about controversial battles in a minute, and it got through. Then it took on New York, and that was an easy thrashing because it was a World War I battleship, and it got through. Vanguard first took on the French battleship Richelieu and won convincingly. Then it took on the Italian battleship Littorio and did surprisingly well. We figured out 50-50 and we were wrong. Vanguard, much better fire control. Then it took on Yamato, another controversial battle, and it won moderately convincingly, and so it's very much earned its way here. Guys, some notices. First, I'm glad to say we have Drac or Drachinifel here. Hello, sir.
Hello.
He'll be filling the many holes in our knowledge. Second to say, a slight change of setup, viewers. So you remember, here's the original 32, then down to 16, 8, 4, and through to the winners final. But you guys wanted a lot of the ships that have been knocked out put back into play, and for good reason, because a lot of these battles, as well as being the skill of the pilot, as well as being the attributes of the ship, there's a lot of luck involved. That's just battleship warfare. Therefore you guys wanted some of the ships that have been knocked out to have a second chance. We originally were going to have the 16 ships from round 1 that had been knocked out put into the losers round 2. We've changed that slightly. We've removed 2 of those, so the Dunkirk battle and the Repulse battle have gone, and we've added in 4 ships that were knocked out in winners round 2 here. Bismarck, North Carolina, South Dakota and Yamato. Let me quickly justify why that is. Well, it's pretty simple. These were the battles where these guys lost and you guys were jumping up and down that you wanted them to have another go. Bismarck, if you remember, took on Alaska, and to literally everyone in the world's surprise, Alaska won. Fairly convincingly. The reason you guys want it in is because you want the Bismarck to refight but stay at range. I personally think that's a complete waste of time, because if you remember, they did fight at range. Alaska easily out-sniped Bismarck, and so Bismarck had to close, where eventually Alaska got a lucky mag hit, but we'll do what you want. North Carolina lost to Tirpitz. It was, in my view, a fairly convincing battle. One of the reasons it lost is because North Carolina got within the secondary firing range of Tirpitz. You guys say you wanted to fight further out, so fine, we'll do that for you. South Dakota is one I do agree with, maybe. It took on, it actually took on Yamato, so we're having a rematch of Yamato. It took on Yamato, and we fought relatively closely, and Yamato just smashed it to pieces with its 18 inches. You guys want South Dakota this time to fight at range. If that's what you want, let's do it. Yamato lost to Vanguard, literally one of the battles we've just done. You guys said, well, it was silly because Yamato closed to close range. It should never have closed to close range. You want it to fight far out. And again, we'll do that if that's what you want. I personally think it's a waste of time. If you remember, Yamato did try and fight Vanguard at 28, 29 kilyards, and it got easily out-sniped by Vanguard. We've even done a technical study on it. It's probably going to happen again, but we'll see. So let's keep you guys happy. And that's that, guys. On to today's battle. First, Vanguard. Guys, this is 1945 here. I thought this was commissioned 1946. Have I got my facts wrong?
Well, it depends how they're listing it, whether by launch date or commission date.
Dimensions, 814 feet by 108 feet in the beam, 44,500 tons, max speed 30 knots, crew just under 2,000, and it says 1 in class here. Weapons, I'm going fast because we've done this a million times now, viewers, but we do have to remind ourselves. Main guns, 8 main guns, 2. They're 15 inches by 42 long caliber, fairly slow, cold shell in comparison. Range, a fairly low 32 kilyards, but remember that actually often is a benefit in the battles we do. Reload time, 28 seconds. That has served this ship very well so far, and we're starting to learn how useful a quick reload time can be. Secondary guns, there are 16, 5.3 inch by 50 long caliber, pretty hot shell at 23.5 kilyards. So remember that, guys. Reload time, 6.5 seconds. Sensors and armour, we have a surface search radar at 60 nautical miles with integration into the fire control Armour, belt, 14 inches. Deck, 6 inches. Mag, 15.5 inches. Turret, 13 inches. Bridge, 3 inches. Superstructure, a staggering. General, 13 inches. And the mighty Tirpitz, we have 824 feet long, 118 feet in the beam. Displacement, 52,500 tons, just because they could add some lead ballast. That's a joke. Maximum speed, the same, 30 knots. Crew, 2,600 men. Weapons, we have, this is interesting, guys, 8 main guns, 2222, the same layout, 15 inch, the same diameter shell, but it's a hot gun. It's 52 long caliber, so a much faster shell with more lateral, at least, penetration, but a much lower arc trajectory. So that's going to be interesting how that plays out. 40 kiloyard range. Reload time, a staggering 24 seconds. A quick talk about reload time, viewers. That is in perfect situation where there is no fire control to be dealt with. When you need fire control additions like spotting of shells, you can add a minute to that, and we'll see that today. Secondary guns, lots. First type, dual purpose, 16. They are 4.1 inch, 65 long caliber, a really good 19.5 kiloyard range, an amazing 4-second reload time. Other secondary gun are the surface guns, 12 presumably 6 per side, just under 6 inch hot, 55 long caliber, a really good 25 kiloyard range, so really good reaching set of secondaries on this ship. 10-second reload time, that's a bit disappointing. We have torpedoes, but the chances of getting that close, I don't think it's ever happened, so it ain't going to happen. Sensors and armour, guys. And we have a surface search radar at 22 nautical miles. Now, I always thought there was no radar integration in the fire control of Tirpitz. You guys tell me I'm wrong, and there is actually. You told me some specifics, and I'm not smart enough to really understand it, but it's an interesting thing you said. Belt, 12.5 inches. Deck, 4.5 inches. Mag, 12.5 inches. Turret, 14 inches. Bridge, 14 inches. Superstructure, 8 inches. Guys, we've got to make a prediction here. We've got both 50,000 tonners. Both have almost identical primary armament, except this one has hotter shells. They both have decent secondary armament. I would give it to probably Tirpitz with a bit more guns, with a bit more range. Fire control, probably in real life Vanguard is a little bit better, and probably in game it's a little bit better, because we found game is just really, really good. I don't know. It really is a genuine 50-50. What do you think?
Tirpitz.
I think Vanguard's consistency went out.
Vanguard needs to stay at range on this one, and Tirpitz needs to get to that 20,000 yard range.
I think Tirpitz, the way the game is set up, Tirpitz will definitely have an advantage when you get to closer range because of that massive number of secondaries. And also she's got torpedoes, which is why she's in a class of 1, because that was a late
right.
Bit,
I didn't realise. Yeah.
But if Vanguard manages to stay at range, basically playing like the first half of the Yamato battle where she sniped, although Tirpitz, by the end of her career, did have a radar-integrated fire control, Vanguard, of course, has post-war radar-integrated fire control. So in a long-range sniping match, Vanguard should win just about. And like you said, with the higher velocity shells going on a flatter trajectory from Tirpitz, at a longer range, Vanguard shells will be dropping in higher, greater chance of deck penetration.
Yep.
So if I was Vanguard, I'd play it very much like the Yamato battle of try and keep it long-range sniping and only close in when Tirpitz is crippled.
Today Davros is going to be in Vanguard, it's going to be Dirty in Tirpitz, and we've had to swap all these guys around at the last minute because, surprise, surprise, British hasn't got out of bed, so we're going to do our best. Oh yes, and I've got to say, as well as that, Dirty has changed his name, and I quote, to the Magbuster 5000, because he's a complete freaking idiot. Alright, Vanguard, paused orders please.
So we'll come starboard to about 100.
Aye aye.
Full rudder.
Aye aye.
And we're going to be going AP, narrow, spot.
Tirpitz.
Just go straight. HE, full spot.
Fight! Alright, Bewingtons. Biggest battle so far, and a lot of us, Cap, British, Davros, British, Drac, British, Longbow, British, even Tirpitz pilot is half British. The only German here is Fly. Say hello, Fly.
Hello.
So we've got a lot tied up in this, guys, and I'm going to do my best not to make any mistakes. Perfect gunnery conditions, guys. We're thinking about changing the conditions for the next league that we do to sub perfect conditions, but That'll come a little bit later.
I think we should start randomising. So I think we'll just get a D20 out and start rolling for.
As long as it is genuinely random and not, and we can prove that, I've got no problem with that, because you could have a storm and then you could have a perfect day, right? I think that is quite clever. Yeah. We could even do it on the day. We can roll the dice on the day so the viewers can see it.
There's plenty of number generators online. You can actually stream the number generator, and we'll just have a chart against there's the weather conditions against the numbers.
Tirpitz, your spot is coming off because you don't need it anymore. Vanguard, your spotter is coming off because you don't need it anymore. We are staggering 1 minute in, 27 kiliyards. The problem is, because I start them head on, you always chew up a couple of kiliyards at the beginning. There's not a great deal we can do about that. Rules are rules, guys, and we've set these rules in place. So who's going to out-snipe? We're still outside the quote-unquote kill box. That's where we do most of our killing. That's 20 to 25,000 yards. We're still outside that, so we're still very much in the sniping zone.
Despite the limitations of this particular game engine when it comes to naval combat, that kill zone is actually pretty much, for World War II, the realistic kill zone for battleship engagement. So that's whoever's created this element of the coding, good job.
It really is a good game. It doesn't look great, for 2025. I don't know, you're not into gaming really as much, Drac, but this looks terrible. This looks like a 1990s game, but it's modelled really well. So, yeah, we find it hard to beat it. Solution retention. Oh, we got our first hit. It's a 15-incher, and she's on fire. It's only damage to it. It's a minor. And we've got reciprocal hits. Again, minor, just scratching each other, just feeling each other up. Giggity.
Can I have 10 degrees right, please?
Trying to open up those rear guns. He's just trying to close distance, is all he's doing for the viewers. He can do that without much risk to him at the moment. 27 kiliyards. Check your retention is good.
How's my rear arc?
Aye, stand by. Rear arc is way off. You gotta stack it out 30 degrees.
It'll get better as Vanguard gets further away as well out on that.
I'll put your spotter back on. HE full with a spotter on.
I think for Vanguard, I'm going to leave spot on for now until we get into within that 20.
Aye, yeah, no problem with that. You got perfect. Let me just double check. So I'm turning your spotter back on. AP narrow spotter.
I just want to keep that solution up and maybe slow the rate of fire a bit and try to get it on target rather than just put me.
Roger, fire. They should be able to get on that as long as it doesn't get hit again. Tirpitz, we've got damage coming in. We've knocked some secondaries out. They're on the port side, which is the side we wanted. Well done, Vanguard. That's a bunch of your guns down.
It'd be interesting to see if we do get any secondary fires on Tirpitz, how accurately modelled things are internally, because for reasons best known only to them, the designers of the Bismarck class elected to put a bunch of the 150mm secondary batteries in the middle of the machinery spaces. So if any of those caught fire and exploded, that'd be kind of, oh look, it's turned into a stove.
I watched your Bismarck comparison versus the Italian battleship the other day, and I couldn't imagine being a sailor and going engine room, ammunition room, engine room, ammunition room.
Guys, we've got a problem here. I can't get the solution on Van. There it goes. It's back. Doesn't matter. We're having a minor problem for a minute.
Smoking a bit.
The smoke's upsetting it. Yeah. All right, we're back up. We're going to leave you on spot as requested. Both have taken hits, about the same amount of damage. Both excellent snipers. We're at 25.5 kiliyards. The secondary is going to open up shortly. There's not much Vanguard can do about it.
Vanguard can come port to about 080.
I'm just trying to
also have 20 degrees right, please.
Something like that. It's going to open up his big guns. The big fight starts now, guys. This is going to be over quite quickly because there's so much firepower here. I'm starting to question Vanguard spotting at this point. I would suspect rate of fire, but it's up to you.
We're at that 25,000 yards, so yeah, let's go rate of fire.
So, AP, narrow, turn the spot off, fire and check. So he's onto the full 28 second reload time. They're using historic, for that they're going to use historic ranging data. For you...
6 inches.
How's my rear?
Out.
There's the first 6.
Another 10 degrees.
Aye. You've got your spotter on. You don't really need it. What do you want to do?
Off.
Type of shell.
AP.
They are all AP narrow. Right, we got there in the end, and your spotter's off. Check Vanguard's retention. It's good. And I'm on secondary for some reason. AP... narrow. Okay, you're both AP, both narrow. You're both in the kill box. 25 kill yards is now just a big boom boom to the death. Let's check damage. Nothing on the British ship, and literally we're about to suck all that water out. Tirpitz. Okay, we do have some damage. That's great, but that may be reversed with the primary fire control director.
Yeah, we've got a fire director. Yeah, got a fire director.
This is the British signature.
Take that friggin' sucker up. I saw that hit, actually. That was a great hit. The good Lord saw fit to give him a second, but it might struggle at this distance. We'll see.
So Vanguard can come port another 20 degrees now.
I do have to laugh a little bit at Bismarck. Final battle, one of the first hits knocks out her forward main rangefinder for her fire control system, and Vanguard's gone and done it to Yamato, and now she's gone and done it to Bismarck's system.
It's our speciality, not the fire controller. Don't let them fire back at you. Right, let me concentrate. That's all good. You are AP narrow. You don't need a spotter on. This could reverse very easily, guys, because second to secondaries are going to start wiping out. They have such a rate of fire, they're going to start wiping out the superstructure here.
Starboard 20 degrees.
Warning, you'll be putting your own secondary guns out of commission by doing that. Tirpitz send.
Yeah, I've got to stay outside of Tirpitz, so.
Just keep it on course.
Aye, let me check your fire solution. It's bad, so I can put your spotter on. AP narrow, fire, and all checked. Here's how much difference it makes taking out a fire director. Look at you, how bad your fire control's got. It'll be repaired soon. Your fire control's gone as well. I'm going to put your spotter back on because we actually want to hit stuff. So you're both spotting again at 23 kilo yards. We're very much in the box. And let's check. And yeah, you've got your fire control back. Vanguard. Basically the same.
Vanguard's winning the efficiency battle at the moment. Tirpitz is just starting to creep out of that 90%.
Yeah, there definitely is more damage. That's another hit there. Possibly a 15-inch, I'm not sure. Okay, fire's just starting. It's propagating.
10 degrees right, please.
Don't forget that fire. 10 degrees right, aye.
What's the
And slowing me down.
We're slowing down to stop the fire spreading. We reset at 23.5 kilo yards. All is well. Damage.
Just check my damage control.
Oof! Tirpitz just since we knocked that that radar, the doodah out, it just can't hit. But it's now back in service, so she's going to start doing some good work.
Yeah, we got some nice hits in while she wasn't firing back, as it were. So
yes.
I must admit, actually, watching these back on live on YouTube is a very interesting experience, because obviously here we just see what's going on.
Yes.
Whereas when you're watching it back on YouTube, you get all the sound effects.
Yeah, I pump the sounds right up on mine because I like the big boom. Well, advantage very much Vanguard at the moment. Check my fire control retentions. You are good. Your rate of fire. You are good. Your rate of fire. Everyone's got perfect, well, relative accuracy now. More damage to Tirpitz by a long way. In fact, damage control are struggling to keep up with it. 1, 2, 3. You got a superfluous crew. Right, just took your fucking director out again. You got a superfluous.
Can you take the 3 spanners on the top one that's not doing anything and put it on guns and... never mind, it just did it.
Oh, sorry. I'll put them back. Yeah, we should probably just leave them alone. Auto back on. 24 kilo yards, we're opening up the distance. Let's check your fire control. It is perfect. Vanguard, let me check your fire control. It is perfect. These must be some of the most accurate ships in War on the Sea. They're just so accurate.
Smoke on, please.
Smoke on. He's changing it up. All right. This is gonna give him a big bit of respite.
And spot on.
we're going to come pause by 20 degrees.
Fire control is okay, but you're probably going to need a spotter on soon.
Yeah, I'd put spot on now, to be honest.
Because of this smoke. Okay, we're back to sniping.
Our ammo's not as big as some of the American magazines either, so...
You got 136. The amount of damage you're doing, that's probably going to not be a problem.
That's still over 60 salvos, so...
Tirpitz, a little bit more, 10% more. Fire control is all gone. All gone. Let me see. There's nothing I can do to help
damage?
you. Torpedoes are gone.
Torpedoes detonating.
You're losing some propulsion there, so what I will do to help compensate is put you up to flank. If I can find the button. That'll give you about 20 degrees actual, 20 knots actual. Spanners are sorting themselves out. You've got 7 work parties.
Take one of the yellow spanners on that fire on the left side.
Done, you got your fire
And
director
I have
back.
30 degrees left.
Aye. Fire control's terrible, but there's nothing more I can do for you, Vanguard.
So I want more range at this point. Okay, so I'm going to do a big loop. I'm going to come starboard. I'm almost going to do a 180.
I get you. Vanguard's spotted that Tirpitz is struggling for propulsion, so he's taking advantage and doing a manoeuvre to gain some distance. That's good captaining.
So, guns off, ceasefire, smoke on, U-turn, bring you back onto a bearing of about 210.
I'll leave your secondaries going. Yep, roger.
Tirpitz is like a huge wounded tiger or lion now. I don't want to be anywhere near her.
Yeah, so he's taking advantage to get that distance now, viewers. 88% efficiency. Speed, I've got it up to 16 knots. You don't need speed at the moment, you just need to sit heel. We are 15 minutes in and it's been an absolute belter of a battle so far. You've got everything sitting
I have AP full spot.
AP full spot. One thing to say is, even once the cells are repaired, viewers, they're not back to full health. If you look there, it says integrity. That's how much they're back to. So, like real life, you can never fully repair them until you go back to the docks. She's pretty light on her feet for 45,000 tons. That's not too bad.
He's turning well there, yeah. Smoke off and resume firing.
I'm trying. Pop. Pop. Pop, pop, pop. Boom! Oh, we got a full 8-gun broadside there. That will please the viewers. The problem you got, Davros, is Vanguard turned so quickly, she actually displaced almost no distance.
There is that.
It's like
I was expecting to get at least 1,500 yards out of that. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It turned on a dime and just waste of time. Never mind. Haven't had any updates from Tirpitz for a while. What do you want?
Let's see. Spot off, smoke off.
Yep, I thought so. Spot. Oh, you want to go narrow or full? I'd suggest narrow, by the way.
Narrow.
Fire. Smoke off. Right, viewers. We have reset. We're at 25 kilyards, just the outer edge of the kill box. Davros said that he wanted to slightly pull away, so I'm just going to change him just a little bit, maybe not that much.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll try.
Might want to bring spot off on Vanguard.
Aye, aye, Vanguard.
Think about it.
Negative. Yes, correct.
Yeah,
Doing it.
okay.
Spotter is off on rate of fire using an old fire solution, and our retention is good. Turning away. I've done everything I can for you. Going back to Tirpitz. You're fighting the war again. No one is winning thus far in terms of game rules. Your AP narrow, your rate of fire, your retention is good. Everything is perfect. Fight!
So,
Wow.
as you do when you're doing some preparation for these battles, I looked up some information on Tirpitz. And then because I've got ADHD, I ended up watching a Drachinifel video she did with an admiral on Admiral Beatty and Jutland. There you go.
Oh, I love that.
So, and I was really informed, to be honest. It's a battle I've sort of read stuff about, but being a visual learner, it was really interesting to see the guys actually moving the fleets around on the board and actually discussing the issues that were going on in real time, as it were, as they put the fleets on the board. So, yeah, I can thoroughly recommend. What podcast was that, Drachinifel?
I think that was the Times Radio History channel.
There you go. So, Mad of Many Tenants.
Send me the link. Send me the link and I'll put it in the video. Everyone's on rate of fire. Everyone's got perfect solution now. It's now a slugfest again.
But as I say, that's the trouble with having ADHD and trying to do research into your battle.
We can go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Go down the
smoke
Drac
on,
rabbit
please.
hole. A big hit.
Yep.
All of what?
Oh.
It just really... Wow. When Vanguard goes, she goes. Immediate smoke has to go on. We've got smoke on.
And 20 degrees right, please.
Aye. It's
So I think Tirpitz is just in that hideous range of her now, where that slightly thin deck arm is getting pounded by those 15 inches, arcing over and plunging through that deck.
Yeah, because these shells are flat. Look how flat. They're coming in at 20 degrees. Almost no deck penetration. Jeez, the gun's knocked out. I mean, that really was a salvo. That was a salvo, guys. It's going to get repaired because it's in smoke, and so much you can do when it's in smoke, but...
You know what's quite funny is actually, in terms of historical precedent, that's exactly what happened to Bismarck against Rodney.
Get up.
Yeah, that's actually quite a terrifying shot. At the time, Rodney's gunners, they tracked the shell in. They saw it hit the faceplate of Tirpitz's turret, and the survivors on Tirpitz said the explosion, on Bismarck, they said the explosion was so powerful it actually blew the armoured backplate out of the back of the turret and sent it over the side.
Jesus Christ.
That answers a question one of our valued viewers had. Would blowout panels work on these guns and turrets? And I was like, well, if you're going to take that big a hit, you probably going to be dead inside the turret anyway, unfortunately. But maybe that's some evidence to say no. Blow-up panels would be a good idea. Release the pressure, you survive.
I mean, I'd say the big question is how big are the panels and how much do they compromise your armoured integrity? Because obviously you can't blow out panels in the front or the roof. Maybe the sides. The armour at the back is as much a counterweight to balance the turret as anything else.
Yeah, so if I was a designer, that's why I'd put the blow-up panels as the rear, because hopefully you've got your barrels pointing at the enemy. So the blow-up panels would be the rear. Maybe just minimise the welding on that, so they just blow out when they take a big hit. It's going to be a hell of a job to put it back in, of course.
Yeah, I mean, one of your big problems is going to be there's so much explosive involved in a turret explosion that, I mean, given that some of the times when you get turret or magazine explosions, the entire turret, which can weigh hundreds, if not thousands of tons, goes skywards like a rocket. A rear-mounted blow-out panel, you might just end up Catherine wheeling it off the edge of the ship.
Yeah, that happened to it, right? Like, there were eyewitnesses that said like that turret of Hood was basically launched hundreds of feet into the air.
Well, the wreck's certainly missing a good chunk of the amidship section.
And I can't imagine that these, how you design a turret, and I forget what the actual bits that hold the turrets up are called. How do you design that to take a hit from a 15-16 incher and it not be put out of tolerance, so the vertical systems still actually move around within the mechanisms? Just amazing.
It's dead. If it gets hit, it's dead, isn't it? Because the metal's
my
buckled.
main gun repair time. Never mind.
It's done.
The
hard left rudder.
Mm-hmm.
The turning mechanism, the turntable for the turret, is set inside the barbette, the big armoured tube that the turret sits on.
That's it, the barbette, yeah.
By about, I mean, it depends on the ship. It can be a few inches, it can be like half a foot or something. So you can get a little bit of distortion in the barbette
20 degrees for Vanguard.
okay.
Sorry, no, left. Keep distance.
Roger, guys, I've just had them set on AP narrow spot because it's the best I can do for them with the smoke conditions, and they're just, they're doing what they're doing.
I have HE, please.
I am. All right, we are it's gone quick. 24 minutes in, guys. We've had many resets.
Rudder hard over, cap, please.
Which way?
Left.
I'm just checking. It's just matching. Tirpitz. Tirpitz is trying to close by doing a hard rudder pull. Vanguard is trying to get away with a hard rudder pull. Roger, we continue. Ammo, 100, almost out of HE, 130 per turret, 120, 130 per turret. Vanguard hasn't used any HE, and she's got 110 per turret. If someone can work out the firing, it's probably enough.
I got told off by our valued viewers for using HE the other day for a bit long, and I was like,
They both have their advantages and disadvantages. At what stage of the battle you're on?
070.
Alright, so you're pretty much going the same way. We shall wait. Vanguard's definitely a better turner. She turned afterwards, considerably afterwards. She's got a square back. Considerably afterwards, and she's beating the turn.
Drac will explain why that is a squared off stern, and what the hydrogen benefits of it are, as opposed to Tirpitz, which has a beautifully sculpted rear.
Yeah, it's called a transom stern, and in very crude terms, basically what it does is it gives you an artificially longer ship without needing a longer ship, because as the water flows down either side of you, obviously the ship just ends, which means that the water currents just continue past the end of the ship. So in terms of your length to breadth ratio, which is vital for speed and drag and all sorts of things, essentially what the transom stern does is it gives you another, in a battleship scale, maybe another 30 to 50 feet of effective hull length, which helps you go faster, more efficiently, without the additional weight of actually having that structure there. So it's really good if you're moving at speed. The one big downside of transom sterns...
Just check my forward arc for me, please, Cap.
Just.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, the one big downside of transom sterns is that if you're moving at slower speeds, those currents get a chance to form vortexes very close to the stern, which actually impede you. So if you're talking about World War I ships that are maybe doing 21 knots and cruising significantly slower than that, a transom stern isn't a brilliant idea. But when you get to the faster battleships, doing 30 plus knots at full speed and cruising significantly faster than the old school stuff, then suddenly transom sterns make a lot more sense from a fuel efficiency and speed bonus perspective.
Yeah, it's the first time I've actually noticed, just like Cap, that Vanguard's got a transom stern. I don't think any of the battleships in our mod pack, which unfortunately is not public, folks, have got a transom stern.
No, it shows up in some small fast ships earlier, but Vanguard is the first battleship to bring the concept into play.
Alright guys, so they're both spotting with their different types of ammo. They're both over 90%. One smoking with 25 kiloyards. Check your gunnery. You're good. We are in the same position we've been in for a long time. Everyone's driving their ships perfectly, basically. Doing exactly what they... This guy's trying to just eke into that perfect range. This guy's just trying to keep out of that perfect range and get into sniper's range. Constantly responding to each other. Yeah, doesn't get really much better. We're just waiting for that lucky hit now that really twists the battle.
I have AP full spot, please.
AP full spot.
So I have managed to negate Tirpitz's rear batteries at the moment because they've had to point at me to get that range down.
Good hit. Glancing blow.
Can I have hard left, please?
Aye, aye.
Tirpitz has now got the same issue as Yamato. Does she close to try and get those heavy hitters in that brawling range? She's not losing the sniping range, but she's not doing any damage. Does Vanguard press? We know those 15 inches have that hideous, ineffective range between about 18 and 22,000 yards, so she's going to get quickly through that if she's going to press.
It's difficult. It's a big battle. There's a lot of stake here.
Doing this in real life, hideous.
Not for me. Davros, bear in mind Tirpitz is going to fall out of your arc because of his turn, so just keep an eye on your front guns.
Yeah. I'm still just trying to get that little bit of range before I turn back to the
Aye. We're at 24.5 kiloyards. Tirpitz did well to close, but she took a big hit for it. Damage control will be on it.
Slow me down 5 knots, please.
He's just done it for you. That's, speed's coming down.
Okay,
down
so
to 20 knots.
We'll keep ourselves nice and straight, get a couple of salvos in while Tirpitz is getting slower. When Tirpitz gets her speed back in, we'll do that big turn.
Aye. Rudder and midship, spot off.
So you're on AP full, spotter off, and confirmed at 24.5 kiloyards.
So another question for Drac, because I had this one asked of me, and I had to actually respond by saying my postgraduate studies are in cardiology nursing, well, the metallurgy and naval history. So they were asking about the differences between some of the penetration charts and some of the work that was done, guns versus armour during the war and after the war. Any comments on that, Drac?
Yes.
Will you have about half an hour?
There are 3 main factors that govern how well your armour is going to resist shell fire at a battleship scale. The first one is fairly simple, which is just how good a quality steel can your forges actually output, and that's actually not an inconsiderable question because we are talking about some pretty substantial bits of steel that are being forged. Very often, when it came to what kind of guns and what kind of armor you could make, national limitations actually came into play, as in, like, our country physically can't make a block of steel of good quality that beyond a certain size. So having to upgrade your national steel infrastructure was a big thing that came into play. Fortunately, both Britain and Germany in this case have pretty decent steel industries.
I have narrow, please.
On top of that, you have the actual steel itself. What kind of steel are you using? And that we discussed that a little bit with the Yamato battle. So obviously you have your basic steel, which is iron and carbon. Then you have your nickel steel, which was the basis of battleship armor back into the late 19th century. And then when you get to Harvey steel, face-hardened steel, and then Krupp face-hardened steel, which becomes the standard for the early 20th century, you start to introduce small amounts of other
20 degrees.
Yeah, you start to introduce small amounts of other elements, like chromium, for example. And what you're trying to do is basically play with the ultimate yield strength of the steel, but also the hardness, the brittleness, and its overall resistance to impact, and it's very complicated when it comes to...
Yeah, it's somewhere between the art and the science, isn't it, technology for armour? Because do you want it to flex? Do you want it to actually try to deflect? Do you want it to be soaking up, energy that goes through and diffusing it through a slightly softer material? Or do you want it to be completely brittle, so it's just a one-shot, bang, it goes, So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
right, please.
What the British and the Germans actually end up doing independently is that everyone kind of has roughly the same formula for face-hardened Krupp-style steel in the early part of the 20th century. But in the interwar period, the Germans and the British, I say independently, start adding even more small trace elements like molybdenum to their steel mixtures, which starts to make the steel itself physically more resistant by exactly how much depends on which source you believe. And then you have the third factor, which is the face hardening, because like was just being said, you've got this trade-off of, if you make it really brittle, it's really hard, really good at resisting, but it could also shatter like glass and probably won't take a second hit. If you make it really ductile, then you can poke holes in it all day and the plate's not going to fall apart, but it's going to be much easier to poke those holes in. So that's why you have the face hardening, which essentially, once you've got the armor plate roughly to how you want it, you heat it up till it's glowing. And
that's my damage kit.
Yeah, you heat it up till it's glowing, and then you drench one side in very, very, very cold water, massive jets of freezing hot water, which cools it very rapidly, makes it go brittle, but then the other side cools much more slowly and becomes ductile. So you get this combination of essentially an outer hard face which breaks up the shell, and an inner ductile face which supports it, makes sure it doesn't shatter, and gives it a little bit of play when it comes to absorbing the kinetic energy.
So you've not only got all these factors going into the manufacture, but then on the science side, you've got all the differences in how people are measuring and predicting the penetrations of their various weapons against the armour as well. So, it's... Oh, hello, Red.
Yeah, it will repair itself, but you are a gun down for a minute and a half.
It won't survive another hit like that on that gun.
Nope, that's worrying for Vanguard.
Also, I've been doing, while Drac was talking, I've been doing some calculations in my head. I'm not sure how relevant this is, but I suggest that you have 52 salvos to do in the 24 minutes left. That is 104 shells you need per turret. You've got 80 shells per turret, so just bear that in mind. That is if it went the full hour.
So, as I was saying, with the face depth, this is the third factor, because obviously if you have lots and lots of very hard steel on the outside, theoretically you have a great deal of resistance, but once it fails, it pretty much fails, and the rest of the depth is, relatively speaking, easier for the shell to get through.
Hard right rudder.
Aye, hard right rudder.
So that's when you see them start layering on the cement on the back end, isn't it? To start absorbing some of that energy and supporting the actual the steel plate.
Well, yeah, but I mean, usually, surprisingly, actually going very deep into the Dreadnought building period and the interwar period, they actually put timber at the back, almost like Warrior with the timber behind her iron armor. As it turns out, if you have more ductile material, essentially the hardened face will it'll either shatter the shell or not, at which point at battleship scale combat, having the ability to absorb more impact via the ductile backing is better. So you want, for battleships, relatively speaking, a shallow-ish hardened face and a deep ductile back. But because you've got the square cube law, obviously, an 8-inch shell is half the diameter of a 16-inch shell, but only 1/8 of the volume. It turns out for cruisers, you actually want the opposite. You want a very deep, hardened face to deal with 8-inch or 6-inch shells. And most navies have a fixed, this is how deep our armor hardened face is. And it turns out that the British depth was pretty much spot on for dealing with battleship shells. The Americans went down a rabbit hole that meant they had very thick hardened faces. Which
Vanguard pulled by 30 degrees. Let's cross that T.
The Americans, as they went down a rabbit hole that meant they had a very hard, very deep hardened face, which meant their cruiser armor was superb, but it meant their battleship armor was, technically speaking, maybe underperforming a little bit compared to what it could have done, given everything else. The Germans was somewhat similar to the British in that they had the more optimal thinner face, and weirdly enough, of all people, the Italians were the only ones who had a variable depth face, because they'd actually worked out that problem. So they had thicker faces on their cruiser plate and thinner faces on their battleship plate.
I found it really interesting about what Drac was saying. One thing, well, I've learned a lot today, but one thing is that you treat the metal treat one slab of metal differently. One face you harden, one face you leave as just normal mild steel or normal steel. Just one element of
weirdly
metal.
enough, you get the same principle actually in Japanese katana swords.
Yeah.
So what, a hard edge and then a ductile middle?
Completely different reason, obviously, because a katana is an offensive weapon, so you want the edge to be very hard and very good at cutting, but similar problem to a battleship, very hard metal.
That's my rear arc.
Great until it hits something solid and then it'll shatter. So for the Japanese, they were just like, okay, we'll have an extremely hard cutting edge and a softer back, which hopefully prevents it from snapping.
Roger, guys, update. We're 40 minutes in. Officially, no one is winning the battle. There are no critical hits on either side, so this is still going on. I'm slightly worried about Tirpitz's ammo. Now 68 per turret. That's 34.
That's Vanguard.
Sorry, yeah,
That's
Vanguard.
Vanguard,
Yep, Vanguard's ammo. I'm not worried about Tirpitz's ammo.
Tirpitz's speed is down to 50%, but she's still got efficiency, so she's...
It's difficult. Difficult
Yeah,
one.
she keeps repairing. This is where, as a captain, you literally stick to your guns. I have to keep sniping.
Yep.
I know if I go close, I'm going to get shredded by that close.
You're going to get shouted up by the viewers as well. Yeah, I get it. You still get your smoke on, by the way, as in your normal smoke.
Yep.
Oi! Oh, no, I thought
That
it
was
was
my
a hit.
damage.
Stand by.
I think sort of Bismarck's sister ship, like the U-boat, was it U-400 was built next to Bismarck. Literally was there when Bismarck was sunk, and they couldn't do anything.
Just port on a
First
20
they
degrees.
had-
Let's go.
They had no
Yeah, she-
torpedoes left, and yeah.
There's a
Turned up a fraction too late.
Yeah, I was waiting for Fly to finish talking. I'm too polite as a captain.
You're on AP narrow spot, which is probably the right thing to be on. I wouldn't suggest anything else. Any changes from anyone?
I'm only changing to HE when I run out of AP.
Do you want to change to HE?
No, not until we run out.
Is spot worth having at this range?
Yeah, it's because he's got the smoke on, Drac. If I turn spot off, he'd go down to 70% and he wouldn't hit anymore.
And I've got limited ammo as well, so... I've
Slows his rate of fire down.
Do propellers count as a critical system?
Yes, they do. Anything
Yeah, I
with an
know, it's
image.
on the Tirpitz.
There's a black propeller on Tirpitz.
Stand by.
Yep.
Well spotted. Vanguard is indeed winning. Okay, that changes everything, doesn't it? Right. Okay.
It does. How
didn't-
much do we want to wreck the RN's reputation?
I would say wait until you feel you're in danger, Davros, before you run away. If
Trouble is, I take a propulsion hit, I am stuffed.
you're welcome to head away if you want, no one's going to blame you for it. You want to win at the end of the day. Dirty's done everything he can to kill you.
I'm going to see how much ammo I've got left. So we
You've
have
got 30 shots and 10 shots of HE.
So we've got 30 shots. That's going to take about 15
Yeah, I'm
minutes.
worried about you now, Davros. I'm worried about you.
So 90 degrees, 099 starboard, smoke on. Make best speed.
It's all in the rules, viewers. You wanted more realistic battles. That's exactly what you're getting now. He's not going to sit there and die just because Tirpitz has got his eye in. He's going to run away. He knows Tirpitz can't chase because Tirpitz...
I'm going to have to keep an eye on that bow flooding though, because Tirpitz has just got a couple of big hits on the bow.
So just be... Yeah, okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Tirpitz, respond.
Oh, 30 degrees left.
That damage to Tirpitz is permanent now. I can run away. She's only got 15 knots. I am carrying over 20. I'm going to make that range go out. I'm a little bit worried that those big old caliber Tirpitz guns might hit me as I come through the 28,000 yard range. So that's what we're going to smoke on. We're going to put our smallest portion of the ship. I'm going to lose my guns bearing, but to be honest, can we go run the hard over as well, please?
It is. It's all done. It's just you're slow because you've been knocked
we're
out.
slow.
Oh,
A
this
bunch
could,
of bits to machinery as well.
this could literally go
So
any way.
My speed's now down to 14. So
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think we're just a few, probably 60 seconds too late then.
No, Tirpitz has lost one of its turrets for a minute.
Yeah, so that's taken the taking the weight of fire off.
Oh my God, he's lost his spotter plane. What will he do?
Can't send the ship log back to
Oh,
Berlin
look
now.
at
No.
the damage there. So are we without? No, we've got 2 outboard propulsors.
That is
at the moment.
really unlucky for Vanguard to be hit like that. Really, I mean, your turn's down to 20. Your rudder's out. You're not turning basically.
Yeah,
Speaking
so
of business, we call this Revenge of the Dark Side.
It really is, isn't it?
we are keeping that flooding under control though, which is my other big issue. So that's been rectified.
You're still dealing damage as well. So you're still. It's down to 84% efficiency. Vanguard is down to 82%. So for the first time in the battle, Tirpitz has the upper hand. Jesus, where did that come from, Dirty? Slick move.
We'd have to just
Like.
watch it back. Yeah, I think did I get close? Did it get to 24,000
No,
yards?
it was out of your control. It's a thing that happened.
I am getting pummeled now. I think I've just come within those secondaries as well.
Gutted. At the moment, illegally you're winning. If you can survive 14 minutes, legally you're winning the battle.
Yeah, Vanguard's not going to be on the seas for a little while after this, is she?
Turbis, do you want your spotter on or not? Because you have a terrible
On.
solution. I
And
mean,
check my damage.
it's just bitty. But there's nothing.
Damage on all fire directors now, so
What's your relative? Yeah, your relative solution is 60%. I mean, it's a 60% chance of getting his footprint somewhere near your ship, and let alone hit.
Those flashes a little bit far away.
22.5 kilyards.
Yeah,
increasing
I'm really happy.
distance, but horrendously
Yeah,
slowly.
I'm going to be happy once I've repaired those.
Yeah, 30 seconds and you're off. 30 seconds and you're off. Can Tirpitz do something in this 30 seconds? What a fight. What a fight, guys. It's easily switch either way. You're
10
just in
degrees
arc.
left.
You're just in arc. Yeah.
Getting more nerve-wracking being a captain on these battles.
It is, isn't it?
Previously, yes, we've known almost which ship's going to win. There's been some obvious pros and cons to the ships we're fighting. These guys are very well matched, to be honest.
Yeah.
Natural selection as a herd, and we apparently have some very strong ships left.
Exciting.
Yeah, my speed's coming back up now, so that should be me safer, he
Yes.
says.
Okay, I'm going to just put you on a natural course. So you should be able to get up to your 20 plus knots. Tirpitz is still way down at. She has 14 knots. So she's yeah.
AP loose.
AP loose. Going for that magic shot.
Yeah, it's one way of compensating for the lack of fire direction. I can just hear some of the value viewers saying, close, killing shot.
Not today.
No, I can't against those secondaries. Tirpitz has just got way too much weight of fire for a second.
Tirpitz is still dangerous as well on top of that.
She is very
that's
dangerous.
She's got
too.
full of firepower despite her speed.
You have a couple of snipes when you go on AP narrow spot, and then you're basically getting out of dodge. 23 kilyards. Let me check. You got no black.
I think we're below 50 shells anyway.
We are 23 kilyards. What a fight, guys. What a fight. The frustrating thing for Tirpitz is, in about a minute, he's going to be in perfect fighting condition. But it'll be because of the rules we've got in place, and those rules are there for a good
Has that
reason.
one prop.
Yeah, it's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those rules are born in blood.
So for those who say I'm retreating, I'm running away, I'm not. I'm tactically located to a position other than here.
Tactically relocating to a more advantageous position.
Basically, yeah.
Like.
Yeah, in that case, that would be port. Hello, Plymouth.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not going to get a mag hit this late.
Roger, your secondaries are almost out of ammo.
Steady now.
Your secondaries have only got about 3 more minutes of firing, by the way. I've never seen it go down that low before. Lots of. Woohoo! Oh, tell me it's not the rudder. Oh, minor. Right, you are
Yeah,
about to get 30 knots in the wind here.
We're set on course now anyway, so.
Dirty, you've missed a trick. You should have your smoke off. You were trying to hit here. You've been hampering yourself for this since he's been running away.
Yeah, smoke off.
And we'll just start zigzagging as well, so we'll just do 10 degrees port, please.
Knew that was coming. Kind of like British, lifting up your skirt, Dev.
Yeah, we like to flirt, mate. We like to flirt.
Look how many grey cells there are. Every one of those is, look, 60-40%. The armor's gone.
Drac, wasn't there a U.S. carrier that was basically fixed in a week?
Yorktown.
That was
less than
supposed to
3
take,
days.
like-
They thought it was going to take 3 months after Coral Sea, and they patched her up into, roughly speaking, battle condition in 3 days and sent her out to Midway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she wasn't better ready yet. On the way to Midway, they keep repairing it and get her
10
ready.
degrees starboard.
Yeah, they got her seaworthy, and mostly up to speed again. Although she ended up getting sunk at midway, so 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But her air group did actually do a fair bit of damage before she went down.
I think the air group landed on Enterprise, right?
Yeah, and well, Enterprise ended up hosting aircraft from everybody because Hornet's aircraft went and got lost.
Dirty, can you please just win this now?
Not really. You need one hell of a lucky shot.
The funny thing is, like, Tirpitz's turrets keep getting knocked out, but not quite enough to permanently knock them out.
Yeah, what's the integrity on those now? What, 8%?
It's at 8%.
Wow.
A bee running into it is going to shatter it.
Every single one of those sailors is getting a night cross, that's what I'm saying.
Never seen a part hit so much. It's down to 8% integrity. Wafer thin bit of metal left.
Yeah, I mean, the fun thing with the German fire control system is that at least when we're talking about the optical fire control system as opposed to the radar one, the stereoscopic rangefinders do technically have some advantages over the coincidence rangefinders, but it's one of those cases of you can train a lot of people to operate a coincidence rangefinder. With a stereoscopic rangefinder, because of the way it works with the human brain, there's a very, very small percentage of people who can actually use them well for any significant length of time, and it is quite tiring on you, like literally within if you're using a big stereoscopic rangefinder of a World War II vintage for 20 minutes, half an hour, you will have to step away with a blind headache.
Again, please.
That's interesting because that's the difference between having a finely tuned instrument and an instrument that's not quite as good, but more people can use it if the primary guy gets shot, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of what happens with poor old Bismarck in her final battle, because her chief gunnery officer Schneider is probably one of the best gunnery officers around at that time period, and he's doing pretty darn well until his entire position gets obliterated by a 16-inch shell from Rodney. And then after that...
Well said.
Yeah, then Bismarck's gunnery starts to suffer quite a bit.
And port sweating as well.
They put the best officers on Bismarck, basically. If they were able to, dial in shots, basically first salvo it.
The fun thing was after she got hit, after Bismarck got hit and fire control shifted to local areas, then you have Baron Mulheim von Reichberg, who's, authors pretty much one of the largest biographies of Bismarck, because obviously he's on there and survived. Yeah. He's the secondary gunnery director, as in for the secondary fire control position, not for the secondary guns. He's sort of going, okay, right, it's all on me now. And then I think it's a shell from King George V, very nearly takes him out the same way that poor old Schneider got taken out, except that it just clips his fire control position, so he feels this massive crash. You think, I'm still alive, cool. Looks back through his viewfinders and all he can see is pale blue. And he's like, what the heck is this? And it turns out the shell has carried away the external optics.
Wow.
That's how close it came. And the blue he's seeing is the blue internal paint in the tubes, because all the prisms are shattered.
Right, just a little bit of a plug. If you've enjoyed the battle, ring the bell, folks. Make a comment, make it a nice one, make it a nasty one, we don't really mind. If you really want to help Cap out, you can buy some merch, or you can go and fund him through Patreon. Cheers folks, enjoy.
Roger, and I'll put Drax a link in the description if you want to go and check him out too. I'm sure you will. As we are 2 minutes left. God, that's gone quick.
It really hasn't.
Not for you. So we can start debriefing. Obviously, we know... Let me just double check. No, we know what's going to happen now. First of all, absolute commendations to both captains. You we're at that point now where you're so finely tuned with your instruments, you can get them to with 100% efficiency, which is kind of what the point I wanted to make there, was that these are very equally matched ships, or very similarly matched ships, with small differences. And what we saw there was this constant bouncing in terms of range between 25 to kind of 22 to 23 to 24, 25, 22, 23, that band there. And that's because of exactly that. Once you get within a certain range, one ship starts doing a little bit better, and so the clever captain pulls away. Once you start getting a little bit too far away, the other ship starts doing better, and so you got this perfect balance of machine, and the human brains of the captains had it absolutely perfect. No one did anything stupid. Everyone tried the best. Tirpitz had to try different things because he could see which way it was going. It was just a tiny bit of bad luck in the end, and the game rules that meant a sellout, and that's it. That's the rules that we set in there, that we've learned. The battle can't really get much better than that, in my opinion. I mean, it's not the most exciting for the viewers, but it's the most probably realistic we can do within what we've got here. I literally don't know what you can complain about. I don't know how you could have sailed either of those ships better.
Valued viewers would just like you to look at the damage on both ships at the moment, because we're coming off, that is the hour, so if you want to pause.
There's the historical damage is grey, and there's only one tiny bit of actual damage. And again, Tirpitz is a tiny bit of actual damage, but a huge amount of historical damage. So both ships took a pummeling. I would say more of the pummeling went to Tirpitz, as I'm sure you'll all agree.
So Tirpitz's speed is down to 15 knots at the moment. She's actually got engine damage going on there as well. Vanguard, it's going in for a refit and probably won't be useful for about 6 to 9 months.
Any newer viewers want to know why Tirpitz didn't chase Vanguard? Obviously, we shattered her prop. She couldn't chase. She had to sit there and be a monitor. That's all she could do.
Yeah, well, a Bismarck class being undone by a hit to the stern. Who would have seen that one coming?
Boom.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, it was very close. As you said, kind of, in terms of overall hits, I think Vanguard had a slight advantage going there. She did knock out fire control and turrets on Tirpitz repeatedly, and I think she only lost one of her own turrets briefly once. So I think overall she had the edge, but it wasn't a huge edge. And so, yeah, as you said, it's kind of, I think late war Tirpitz versus immediately post-war Vanguard, that's pretty much how I would have expected it to go, with, a slight edge to Vanguard, but not enough to make an incredibly decisive thing. And it basically comes down to luck of the dice. And in this case, just that small edge in, I think, just getting more hits in, kind of like she did with Yamato, meant that statistically speaking, she was going to get something nasty in a vital area sooner rather than later. Whereas with Tirpitz, it just took her just that little bit longer. I think once her speed dropped, that the writing was pretty much on the wall.
I'm just rolling more dice, and now and again we're getting more sixes. Conversely, Tirpitz maybe roll with a few more ones.
Magbuster 5000, send.
It was just that lucky hit to the prop.
Yeah,
because I can't chase, then...
If that lucky hit to the prop hadn't ever happened, guys, and assume we got to the 60 minutes, it would have been sudden death. And in that case, it literally is a 50-50. You might as well just roll the dice. So this is as close as they get. Viewers is also about as good as they get.
I'm going to say 60-40 at that
All right,
point.
well, we'll see. Like I said, tactically, you ain't going to get much better. I hope you enjoyed that, and bye-bye.